Hey, hi guys! So today's video is a very it's both a spontaneous video and a video I thought a lot about because I've been wondering whether I should do it or not. I've been wondering whether it will be well received or not. Even though I've been thinking a lot about it, I haven't been thinking about what I would say. I feel like this is something I fucking need to talk about because I need to. I think we should all talk about this. And I mean, I talk about it with my friends, I talk about it with my sister, I talk about it in my daily life because of the internship that I do. I don't really talk about it online, and I feel like I have to because I'm very present online. On this channel there is pretty much, not everything, because so many different things interest me and I love so many different things, but there are quite a bunch of things that I'm passionate about or that interest me or that I feel strongly about has been missing. The reason why it's been missing is because it's such a complex issue, and because I don't really know what to say, that I've been a bit afraid to come off as an idiot or be rude or insensitive. I've seen no one talk about it online. I've seen no YouTuber talk about it, and this disgusts me. So I want to talk about in Europe right now. I think everyone in the world knows that in Europe right now there are many migrants. There have always been migrants because of many different things, such as economics, such as the past and colonization, such as barbaric practices happening in some countries. And recently there have been wars, so the number of migrants has increased terribly. There are so many things to say about this. You could talk about the causes, you could talk about the consequences, you could talk about what to do, you could talk about how the European Union is just being really bad at dealing with it. I mean, so many things. And I'm not gonna talk about these things because I have my opinions, and it's not like I'm completely ignorant, and it's not like I'm completely clueless about these issues, but I'm not studying any of that. It's not like it's my job. I'm not a specialist. What I know, however, is that I'm a human being and I have a heart and I have a brain as well. And my brain tells me no one would go onto a little boat across the sea risking death for no good reason. One would leave everything they have if they really had something. And my heart tells me this is not okay to treat human beings like that. And this is not okay to turn a blind eye to this. And this is not okay to keep on living our daily lives, buying our makeup and clothes, seeing our friends and smiling and laughing, watching TV and pretending nothing's happening. And I'm not saying we should all forget about life and forget about happy things and joyful things. But what I'm saying is we need to talk about it. We need to... there are many different ways you could help. You could send money, you could send clothes, you could send things, you could get informed, you could volunteer abroad or in your home country. I am volunteering right now. My internship is with migrants, and I chose to do it with migrants. And I'm not being paid at all for this internship. Obviously, it's something I've always felt very strongly about. The thought of having to leave your country because it's in war or because of whatever. There's so much more to a country than just a country, It's the smell, it's the food, it's the people, it's the sound, it's the music, it's the landscapes, it's everything, Even if it's war, it's still your country. It's still all of these things that you grew up in. And to leave all of that and to leave your family, your friends, sometimes dead or alive, to come to a country where you don't have anything, and when you're probably going to stay in the streets for so long, you don't know the language, you don't know how you're going to be received, you don't know if the people are going to treat you well or even accept you or not brutalize you. Can you imagine how it must feel? I don't think I can imagine how this feels, because I was born in France. Simply because I was born in France. Sometimes I wonder, I've always wanted to believe that individuals had so much power, that the power was in our hands. But when I see the world and what's happening for human beings, for animals, for the planet, so many different, like in Saudi Arabia, for example, and for women in the world, and for children, and for everything, I'm like, do we really have power? And I think the revolution, this one thing that I have learned so much about, not only in France, obviously, but France has such a big history of revolution, and that's like the main thing in her history. That's what we learn all the time about, and it's like we've fought for freedom, a very simple and positive version of it. And I do believe in that. I do believe people have the power. I do believe we have the power. But I don't think we really use that power because the most simple thing, which is to talk about it, to make videos about it, to write about it, to tweet about it, to do whatever about it, we don't do it. Imagine if in Europe, all people that feel so strongly about migrants and want to help started a trend, started to go in the street to show their support. If everyone got involved, I'm not saying this would change everything, but I'm saying at least they would see we care. And I really think that governments would have to take action, would have to listen to us a bit more. Like, imagine strikes and demos and protests and everything like that. People will say, oh, that's not realistic, whatever. Maybe that's not realistic. I'm not saying this is realistic. I'm just saying that's things I think about daily, because when I'm in the metro commuting to the place I work or going to university, I realize those kids I work with are like 15 to 18. They're not going to go to university. Not because they don't deserve to, not because they don't want to, not because they're not smart or whatever enough to go to university, just because they cannot go to university. And they're the lucky ones. They are the lucky ones because they're alive, because they managed to get to France, and because we are taking care of them. But how many are not taken care of? What really disgusts me, I'm gonna be super honest about it, is that I've seen no YouTuber, no big YouTuber talk about that. And I understand it's not an easy thing to talk about. And I'm not saying you should produce the speech of the year, talk about geopolitics and stuff. But when you have a great following, and when things are happening like in Greece or in Turkey, or even just in France, in Calais, for example, when there are charities existing, when people can send clothes and money and time, and when you don't do anything, when all you talk about is your clothes, your makeup, your jewelry, your morning routine, when you don't even have the time to do one fucking video saying that's a huge human crisis, we should do something about it. You see so many YouTubers who raise money for a few little things, or who are so quick to sell their own products, or who do sponsored videos, but when it's about such a big thing, no one's here anymore. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's fair, because ultimately YouTube is such an amazing thing because you have such a great audience, such a great platform. And I think sometimes at least you could use it to talk about it. At least you could just do a video saying that's happening. Everyone knows about that in the whole world. I mean, especially in Europe. And no fucking big European YouTuber has talked about that. Like, in which world are they living? I'm not asking people to change their channels or their blogs or their lives, because not everyone's gonna be ready and willing to go to that extent, but I'm saying a video, a post, like, what the hell is that? I don't know, maybe some of them give money, whatever, but those kind of things you want to do publicly. I mean, not giving money, but like, you want to say something about that. You want to educate people. You want to show your support. You want to maybe raise more awareness or more money on the internet, in magazines, in newspapers. It's everywhere. And when you read and when you see, I feel like you should want to talk about that. I've been holding back for so long, and finally I'm talking about that. So what can I say? Is just, honestly, if you can volunteer, volunteer. If you can send money, send money. If you can send clothes and blankets and stuff like that, do send them. Get in touch with charities and organizations that do that kind of things. Educate yourself. Don't let yourself be won over by hatred and racism and xenophobia and all those disgusting things. And don't let anyone say anything like that either, because these people are just like you and me. Honestly. And I see them every day. And yeah, we need to talk about these things. We need to. So thank you for watching this video, guys. I was a bit random, but I just really needed to do that, and I hope you understand. I'm sorry if I, explain myself poorly, or if I didn't get my message across. Okay, I'm gonna see you soon, guys. Bye.